Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Big P here, the voice of hardcore boxing. And then again, you already know that, don't you? Because that's why you've tuned in. Today, I'm joined by Terry from London. How are you doing, Terry?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? Good weekend?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm just been watching some conspiracies on here about UFOs and that. You know, on Netflix and that. They're quite addictive, aren't they?
Yeah. It always fills that void, doesn't it? Like we fear the unknown. So when people start giving us these ideas, man, they take hold easy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm watching some Aaron Pryor fights as well earlier. What a good fighter he was, wasn't
Yeah. We wonder how he was able to sustain that work rate, but
he? You're always
he never failed the test.
You're always suspicious, Terry, about fighters that keep throwing punches all the time, aren't you? Like that.
Only because I know what's possible and what's not possible, Russ.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
you're looking healthier though. Look at you, man. Like you getting back to old pork now.
Yeah, I've got wellies now, and I so because it's a bit sludgy in it for traipsing over cow fields and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
put wellies on. And the only problem is you got to get dog a bath every time. So,
Ah,
but he hates it. He hates it in bath. But yeah,
then you just hose pipe him.
yeah, that's a good idea. That'll just hold him under the shower, but he goes for me. He gets really. He just don't like it in bath or out, but I take him and it's really cold in the morning at the moment now, and I'm looking at him and wind's going into his hair and that. And I can see he don't want to be there, but we plod on. You know, it's that. We do 3 mile, so yeah, he sludged up to eyeballs when I get back. But okay then. Obviously you watched the boxing last night, didn't you?
Bits, mate. I was out last night for part of it, so I saw bits of it.
Yeah.
So I could sort of jump in and out. So the bits I saw, I wasn't that impressed, to be honest with you.
Oh.
Nah.
To be honest with you, I watched it. We'll talk about the Eubank Williams fight. There were a lot of intense beef going on before that, wasn't there? But,
Yeah, there was, but I've never been a fan of Liam Williams. I've always felt that he's everything that's wrong with boxing. Well, not everything, but he's that element that's wrong with boxing. That thing that says, if I've got no identifiable skill or talent, I'm just going to go out there and be dirty, which I don't agree with.
yeah. Do you feel that he quit in the Smith fight, the first one?
No, I don't think he's got quit in him. That's one thing I will give him credit for. I think he's got the heart. He's just not very good.
You think he's fighting it wrong way? You should go back to 154.
No, I just don't think he's very good, Russ.
Oh.
Like, not very. He's not. He's the sort of guy. Put him in with an Eggington, and let's just be done with it, right? That's his level.
I think that's a bit harsh. I think he's a bit better than Eggington, don't you?
Nope. What would you base that on, though?
I know, yeah, if you're going to go on about his body of work and that, but I just think that he's a tough kid and a good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but Russ, you could go to your local snooker club. There'll be tough kids in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch him on Sky.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. What do you think?
We have to stop applauding these guys just because they mirror some of the traits we like in our own lives. Oh, he's hardworking, he's brave, he's terrible. He's terrible. He throws his head in there. He's reckless. And the thing is, Russ, you can ruin someone else's career. Look at Huey now after Pulev cut him. Now that's always going to open up.
Yeah.
It's not fair. We need to get that out.
McCauley did that, though, inspiring Martin McCauley.
Same thing. If it was him that did it, anyone who's like that, who's reckless with the head, reckless with the elbows, get him out the sport.
Yeah. What did you think to his comments that he wanted to kill Eubank?
That's sort of idiot you get out the valleys, isn't it? Just brainless and brain dead.
Well, he said he wanted to kill him And Robert Smith said he's going to be charged or something with whatever. He's up in front of the board now, and for what he said.
Good.
But yeah, Joshua said the same thing about Usyk, and he didn't have to go up in front of the board, did he?
No, but with Joshua, you get the feeling he wouldn't even try it. Like Joshua's not a guy who would even he just say that, in the same way that, he said, give me 15 million, I'll step aside. He says dumb stuff all the time. Liam Williams will probably be there winding himself up, going, by there, I'll kill him by here. I'll kill him by there. I mean, I just don't like him, never have done. Get him out the sport. I'll be happy when he's long gone.
It's a bit harsh, Terry.
Nah, I don't like him. Don't like dirty fighters, mate. Don't like him.
Okay.
Hey, and before your numpties in the comments start saying, oh, he's attacking another white fighter, I said exactly the same thing about Marcus Brown when he cut up Badou Jack and he cut up Beterbiev. I said, get Marcus Brown out the sport as well. I don't like people who are loose with the head. I just don't. Felt the same way about Holyfield as well. It's you're stopping someone making a living, Russ.
Yeah, okay. Well, what about Andre Ward? What he did to Kessler?
Which one?
Andre Ward buttered Kessler. Both his eyes were cut really bad from butts.
I say the same thing for that. Dirty. But did he do it afterwards? Has he got 3 or 4 fights where we've seen this happen?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Probably not.
I've seen all the headbutts that he put on Carl Fletcher's forehead. He's very dirty.
Stop, man. Nah. Let's be.
Go and watch the fight, mate. Stop chatting shit and go and watch.
Let's be absolutely clear, right? Right. The damage he did to Carl Froch was not from headbutts. He battered Carl for 8 or 9 rounds.
Watch the fight. Go and watch the fight. All right, watch it properly. Watch it with an open mind. Go and watch Edwin Rodriguez against Andre Ward as well. Go and watch the headbutts that were going in there. Alan Green as well. Go and watch it, mate. It's all there.
Nah.
Robert, before you start hammering Froch, because it's getting a bit boring, you digging Froch out in it and sucking Andre Ward off Terry, and it's a bit boring now, and
it'll never get boring, Russ.
Now listen, mate, it's getting boring. Right, Robert Smith. Obviously, we know they're going to do Liam Smith. They're going to do Liam Williams and put him in front of the board. But is this the same Robert Smith that? How can I explain it? Knew about the Dylan White drug test and kept it, but Thomas Hauser brought it to our attention, didn't he? But Robert Smith knew about it. White knew about it. Eddie Hearn knew about it. So how can Robert Smith start, laying the law down when he's got history? What do you think to that?
History of what though? He's not allowed to.
Yeah, but Robert Smith knew about that. Oscar Rivers were getting in that ring with Dylan White, and Robert Smith allowed it to happen. And
you're not allowed to speak about the drugs test until A and B samples are confirmed.
Right.
They're the rules in every sport.
Oscar Rivers, would you, if you were training Oscar Rivers, would you like to have known that White's failed an ace? Listen, let me just clarify something, Terry, because I think you're trying to be argumentative here. When you piss when you're tested, right? When you piss in a cup, they then pour it into 2 test tubes. It's the same fucking piss. A and B sample. It's bullshit, mate. It's the same piss out of a cup. If I make a cup of coffee right here, see this here. Pretend I've just had a piss. That's my piss. I'm going to pour that into 2 test tubes. A lot like into 2 test tubes. Yeah, it's still the same piss in it. So don't fucking skim over it like that, mate. Let's have
right. I'll say no. I'll say it again, Russ. Number one, you don't write the rules for WADA or UCAD. The rules are when your A sample fails, they come to you and say, Russ, your A sample's failed. And you either at that point you go, okay, cool, hold my hands up to it. Or what you normally say is go and test the B sample. It can't be made public until that B sample comes back as positive.
It's a ploy for them to fucking go around it and drag it out. It's the same fucking piss, isn't it? I can't get my head around it.
So come back to the point. There are people who've had A samples pop and B samples not pop.
Who? Tell me one B sample at Pop. Tell me one.
Oh, mate, you're asking this off the top of my head. I'm sure it's on my episode with Larry.
One. In the whole of boxing, there's only ever been one, and I don't know the name.
It's not about no. It's not about boxing, Russ. It's about sport, right? These are rules that govern every sport. So there are many athletes who have gone right. A samples, yes. B samples, no. Now, is that because they let the B sample sit too long? Don't know. But that's why you have to test the B sample in a very defined period of time. So my point is this: you can pull Robert Smith up about loads of things, and I'll agree with you. If you say to me the judging in this country is rubbish and he defends poor refereeing and poor judging, 1000%. But in terms of him not revealing the drugs test, he's not allowed to.
Yeah, but I know Smith knew about it though, didn't he?
But he's not allowed to tell anyone.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that.
Oh well, no, that's fine. Then you can set up your own anti-doping body, and we'll all sign up.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. All right, then moving on. There, I didn't know you were best mates with Robert Smith.
No, I'm not. Like I told you, there are things I'll happily argue about. But what can you do when someone says, "Here are the rules"?
Yeah, I see what you mean. What did you think to Michaela Mayer pundit work? She's getting a lot of rave reviews today. A lot of people thought she was really good.
I like her. It just didn't make sense to me. Who's she? She's not fighting anyone here, is she?
I don't know, but she's a good pundit. Very good, I thought. I mean, she was putting Jack right, wasn't she, on a few things?
Yeah, but I just it didn't make sense to me. It felt like, you know, the thing that you moan about, right? People coming over for a jolly, what's it, gratis?
Free grass.
It just felt, it felt like that. And I was like, there's no story here. She's not fighting Terry Harper, is she? She's not fighting Tasha Jonas. Why is she here?
Well, Michaela Mayer, didn't Steffi Bull and Eddie Hearn, they were rubbishing her when she wanted to fight Terry Harper. And now she's got all 4 belts and Ring Magazine belt, hasn't she?
And Harper's moved up.
Yeah, and Harper's moved up. Yeah, but she could move up, couldn't she?
They were fighting. And here's the sad thing about women's boxing. It's become like men's boxing when we thought we'd just genuinely get women going at it. No marinating, no build-up, no nonsense. We thought we'd actually get proper fights happening. And now it's just turning out that they're just milking it like they do with the men. And I'm like, come on. And like, women's boxing will grow when we just see the best fight the best consistently.
What did you think to Savannah having a go with Clarissa Shields? It's very out of character for Savannah, wasn't it? Veins popping up on her neck.
Hey, build the fight up, because, and I was thinking about this on my way home. If you really think about it, honestly, Clarissa Shields is light years ahead of Savannah Marshall in terms of achievement. Like, we're literally buying into this fight because Savannah Marshall beat Clarissa Shields once. So I get why Savannah Marshall would be there going, look, I just want my shot and I'll prove to the world. And she must be getting annoyed now, right? Because she sees Clarissa Shields disrespecting her. And so from what I hear, Savannah Marshall's a proud woman. And she's like, no, I'm not having that. So good on her for sticking it on. But what do you do after? Okay, let's say she wins. Where does Savannah Marshall go next? Let's say she loses. Where does she go next? So it feels like it's her last viable fight. And that feels very unfair on her.
I think Savannah will retire after Shields fight, personally.
I'd agree with you. I don't see what she could fight Franchon Cruz, but really, after you fought Clarissa Shields, there's nowhere next. That's your Everest.
Yeah. Okay. Has Roy Jones made any changes to Chris Eubank?
Man, I don't know. I don't think Liam Williams was the test. I think you've got to see Eubank in with someone who can really box.
Andrade.
And then step too far, because I think Andrade is a long southpaw, and I don't know. I think Eubank would struggle with that just from a style matchup.
What about Charlo or Golovkin?
Yep, like a Charlo. I think that'll be good. Jaime Munguia would be good. Golovkin would be good. Even that Sergei Devryanchenko guy, who seems to be the stepping stone to elite status. They'd all be good tests for what Eubank has learned under Roy Jones. Because the bits I've seen of the Liam Williams fight, he didn't put his foot on the accelerator like I thought he would. Like old Eubank would have had Liam Williams out there, as far as I'm concerned. But then maybe new Eubank's got enough ring sense that he can now play with guys like Liam Williams. It's hard to tell until he has a harder fight.
I'm going to throw a name here at you that I think it's a good fight. I don't know if they could make it, but what about...
Please say Liam Cameron.
No, I don't think Liam will be coming back. Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Beefy Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
What about Felix Cash against Chris Eubank Jr.?
Yeah. But is that because if you remember why they got Eubank in, Eubank's meant to drive that top end of the card, right? I don't know if Felix Cash is a name that would help you drive the top end of the card. I think that's more a fight for the hardcores. You see what I mean? You know, the hardcores generally stream and don't pay. So I think they'll just look for some marquee names for Eubank, to be honest. Liam Smith might be one of them.
You think Liam Smith would have any problems jumping to Sky? Because he's an Eddie man, isn't he?
Well, he was a Frank man before, so we know that he's not afraid to move around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? What do you think to Sam Jones' comments regarding Gill, his fighter, who didn't get his ringside interview with Sky? Because it looks like they stopped all that now, doesn't it?
Oh, is that the heavyweight that beat Drago?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a fucking disgrace. Pardon my language. I know you monetize, so sorry about that. But
don't worry about it.
Kid came in out of shape, 0-1, and basic but horrible. Like he's one of those guys, like I said, a bit reckless with the head, just leaps in, but he's raw. So I can kind of let that slide a little bit, but he's gonna have to work on that. I saw the fight and I said, I can't remember what episode it was, Porky. I said to people, this Steve Robinson is going to be a disaster because they signed him almost as if they were doing a favor for someone because he wasn't that good. And they said he had no amateur experience. Not true. He did. He got beaten a few times. And he got beaten by kids who didn't win anything. So as soon as this Gill kid showed up and said, you know, I'm going to fight like my life depends on it, he seemed to just go into his shell a bit. And, you know, you and I have talked about this before, Russ. You can't learn how to fight in adulthood. I don't care how big and strong you are. You can't learn to fight in adulthood. You either had it as a kid or you didn't.
Do you feel that Eubank Senior strutting about with that sheriff badge on, do you think that's adding to the event, or do you think it's turning it into a bit of a circus?
I think Eubank Senior is one of the reasons we've got boxing the way it is right now. He can do what he wants as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he's I know somebody that were there and he were more or less saying that he's law enforcement. I mean, is this guy for real, or is he just winding everybody up? I don't, you know, what do you think?
You know what, Russ? When you're the man that kind of brought pay-per-view to the UK and you brought that real money to British boxers and you brought that level of financial independence, yeah, I can give you a squeeze on that one. You know, him, how he behaves, and to an extent how Calzaghe behaves, those sorts of guys, Nigel Benn too. I'm like, yeah, even Steve Collins, do what you want, mate. You're the reason why we can get shows that look this good now. So I'll always sort of tip my hat to the elders like that.
All right. Okay. Moving on then. Gav McDonald's decided to hang up the gloves. Do you think he overachieved?
Yeah, because he's not decorated, wasn't a superstar in the amateurs coming up. He grafted his way to positions, and
yeah, he did well.
You can't think of anyone that he's ducked. So fair play to the guy.
He beat Lee Wood, didn't he?
Yeah.
fought for 2 world titles, one a British, a European. He's done well, hasn't
What about his brother though?
he? He's done fantastic. His brother, didn't he, Jamie?
Yeah, I think as brothers, and you know, there are rumors that these guys didn't live their life and stuff, but fair play to them. They got out of boxing probably more than they expected to.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to give Eddie Hearn his due. Like, fair play. You gave these guys a chance to earn, and hopefully they did so.
Steffi Bull did well for him. I don't usually give him many compliments, but he did well for Gavin.
Yeah.
Okay. Joyce, Ergovic, Yoka, are they now the 3 musketeers, or should we say the 3 bogeymen, who nobody wants to go near because they're just parked up, aren't they?
Yeah. So
bronze, silver, and gold from Rio, and they're parked up, all 3 of them.
Remember, we talked about this, Russ, and we said the worst nightmare for whoever holds those belts in the next 2 years is who they're going to have to fight. You're not going to be able to escape Joyce, Yoka, and Hrgovic. You're just not. And if Wilder stays lurking about, you're not going to be able to escape him either. So whoever wins undisputed will have to vacate, because you're not going to try and hold on to all those belts against those guys, because each of those fights is a potential career shortener.
Yeah. Why do
But it's been what, 5.5 years?
Yeah.
And normally, like, if you're a gold medalist, by then you've got a world title around your waist.
You know, Ergovic, right? Why do you think that they're having difficulty matching him? Is it because he's 6'7", Olympic bronze, and he can punch? Do you think it's that?
No. There's no upside, right? Because he signed with the Saudins, and the Saudins don't have the sway in the heavyweight division. I'm sure if Hrgovic was on PBC, he'd have fought these guys by now, or if he was on Top Rank.
Do you feel that the IBF should start penalising fighters for knocking eliminators back, or knock them down the rankings? Because people are just getting to a ranking and they're sitting there, aren't they, and knocking the eliminators back. It's like they want to keep earning but not go all the way, kind of thing, you know, and have a tough fight. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. Everyone should just fight each other. I think the problem you have is if you lose, you move too far down the rankings. If we had a way of keeping someone, so let's say Yoka and Hrgovic fight each other. If one of them wins, the loser shouldn't drop down 10 places. That doesn't make any sense to me, because they might be the 2 best in the world.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see moving forward.
Yeah.
Tony Oka, do you rate him?
Yeah, I do.
He looks the part.
Yeah, I do.
I'm surprised people are not clamoring over him to sign him or get him out there.
Isn't he with Top Rank? Well, either unofficially or kind of on the side, he's with Top Rank.
I don't know, but he's not active, is he? Not active.
That was more a COVID thing. So he was meant to fight Coley, if I remember correctly. But because France have got different restrictions to everyone else, they couldn't make the fight happen.
It's a bit of a wet fish, that 2016 Olympics. There ain't really any megastars from it, is there?
Shakur Stevenson?
Yeah, but I'm on about from UK and that. No, Lawrence Okoli won a world title, but he's not really an household name, is he, like Joshua?
No. But Joshua was kind of expected, right? Lawrence was a surprise to everyone that he did that well in the Olympics. That he even made it was a surprise. Whereas with Joshua,
done well, Lawrence.
Yeah. Man, how can I put it? If you're going to write like a 5-page presentation to a young boxer on how you manage your career, it will be like Lawrence.
I'm warming to him, you know, because I didn't like his style. After that Matty Askin fight, I were off him for ages. I just don't able to watch him. But I'm warming to him now, and his story and his struggle and all that. I'm kind of warming to him a little bit.
And he can fight. He can really, really fight. Like,
he can fight at heavyweight, Tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he's still a young man, so he can go up there like Usyk's done, right? Usyk waited till he was in his 30s. He's gone up there, and it's been beneficial fighting the quicker guys. So when he goes up to heavyweight, it's not so intimidating.
Yeah. I could see him having a good fight with Dylan White, you know.
Yeah, him, Dylan, Derek, Huey Fury.
Yeah, look, Huey against Sokolia, that'd be all right, wouldn't it? That'd get that tongue's wagging, wouldn't it? Would it be pay-per-view?
Please, God, no.
Get some comments over that one, won't
Yeah, that doesn't pass the Porky test for pay-per-view.
Ben Shalom. I've likened him to like a wet gherkin. I can't. There's something about him I can't put my finger on. I'm not saying he's like Adam Smith, you know, the Ted Bundy of boxing, but this Ben Shalom, this Ben Shalom, whatever his name, Shadow, or what's he called?
Shalom.
Shadow or something, eh?
Ben Shalom.
Shalom. Well, but this Ben Shalom, he's doing more interviews and he's being more vocal and that, innit? But is anybody going to tell him that he's digging a bigger hole for himself? Because I'm not feeling it for him. He's a poor man's Eddie Hearn, isn't he?
So that's the problem. Eddie's created this thing, this expectation that the promoter has to talk. And Ben Shalom's a smart guy. Like, you can't question that. He's just not a salesman. You know, like with Eddie can just hit that mode, that full on. We called it Herning. Remember that, where he just hits that mode, and everything's a sales pitch.
Yeah,
and he's unstoppable like that. And Ben Shalom, that's not who he is.
No, I'm not feeling it for him, Terry. I'm sorry, but I think he needs to resign. Well, I'm just not. Oh, I'm just going to savage him all the time. I'm not. You know, Ben Shalom to me is the Roy Cropper of boxing, mate. I am not feeling it whatsoever with this Ben Shalom guy. And him and Adam Smith together is like, it's not the dream team. They were saying it's the dream team, weren't they? It isn't the dream team. They are not the dream team. No, I'm sorry. No. I'm not fucking feeling it for Ben Shalom. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry.
I think, so I'll be honest, I think Sky need a reset on their product. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, none of it makes any sense to me at the moment. I'm looking at, like, I looked at the show yesterday, and you had that USSR guy, not very good, against Shane Gill, also not very good. That's a fight that you wouldn't see on a small horse show. I don't believe Dennis Hobson would put that on Fight Academy. I don't. You also got to see Sam Antwi against some guy I don't really know, which that's definitely that will top the bill on the Steve Goodwin show. And so I'm going through this card, Russ, and I'm thinking to myself, this isn't what Sky should be delivering. Right? Sometimes they get it right, but you've got to give us kids who we can get behind. Right? And we can't get behind that USSR guy because we knew that he wasn't going to go far. You know, Sam Antwi, okay, but now you got to invest in him. Are you going to put him in with guys like, I don't know, who do you even put him in with at 140? Or who's the kid from Luton? Do you put him in with like a K Prosper? See what he could do there? I don't know. But the product doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because look at this one. Eubank Williams, right? But what's next for Eubank? No idea. I imagine Liam Williams will just go back to Frank. And then 2 weeks' time, we've got Khan versus Brook. What happens to either guy after that? Probably nothing. So that just feels like a, let's get some revenue off pay-per-view. So there's no structure to it. You know?
You think
because I want to know.
Pardon?
I was going to say, I want to know who are the people Sky are really backing, right? And I want to know when they're fighting and who they're fighting. I mean, I want to get behind people.
It's all a bit sketchy, isn't it? We don't know who's we who, is it? There's too many subplots, isn't there, with Wasserman?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, it feels chaotic.
Yeah, it does feel a bit chaotic, doesn't it? At Sky at the moment. That's what I think, anyway. And at the start, is Joshua going to be on Sky? Is Dylan White? They're sniffing about them. What is going on?
Yeah, it just feels, and I think this is the problem when Sky set themselves up as a platform, when they said we're a platform for British boxing. So you have what's his name? Callis Sauerland nudging Sky to get his guy on. You have Steve Goodwin nudging Sky to get his guy on. You might even have Dennis nudging nudging Sky to get his guy on. Everyone's going to try. Steve Wood, Joe Gallagher, everyone's going to be doing that. And I don't think they've got the infrastructure to manage all of that.
I think that Ben could be at his depth, you know, personally.
Well, yeah, I think we've got to give him a year, but we've got to give Sky 6 months because Sky have been doing this long enough that they should realize the product doesn't work. Macklin on commentary doesn't work for me. That Andy Clark guy doesn't work for me.
Oh, that was poor last night.
Darrell Barker doesn't work. But none of these guys work for me. There should have been a reboot of all of that. I like Johnny. Keep Johnny Nelson. You know, he knows how to get Twitter going. That's what I like about Johnny Nelson. Johnny
always says something that's totally off. You know, like he feared for Joshua because Takams like George Foreman and Holyfield rolled into one. He took fight at 12-day notice, but Johnny felt for he was in fear for Joshua. Johnny says things like that to get it going, doesn't he? On Twitter. He's a wild.
That's his job.
Isn't he?
Yeah, but that's his job because he knows as soon as he says that, that's an extra 1,000 tweets immediately. His job's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay then. Moving on then from last night's show, what do you think to the whole episode with Dylan White and Frank taking Eddie to school and all that kind of thing, and Joshua Usyk, Fury? What do you think to it all? You think Frank's outmaneuvering? Because Eddie said Frank he hadn't paid the 10%, but within an hour of that video, the tweet were out from WBC, wasn't it? 10% paid.
Remember we spoke last week and I said to you, money won't be a problem for this. And we said why. The money was always going to be there. You know, I think, and I think I said this in my episode, I genuinely think someone said, Eddie, Frank's going to bid 30 million. And Eddie went, right, I'm going to bid 32. They hadn't told Eddie that they were talking pounds, not dollars. I genuinely feel that. And that's why Eddie's sulking now, because he's realized someone's had it over him.
Yeah, a lot of that goes on. Where does it leave them though if Dylan fights Fury and loses, Joshua loses to Usyk? Where's that leave heavyweight division? Because he's going to be on outside looking in, isn't he?
But you know what he'll do, Russ?
He'll just keep going and say it's not about the belts and all that, or invent a belt.
I think he'll do one of two things. He'll just push his guys back up the rankings. So he'll go, this is what you'll hear. You'll hear, right, we're going to put Joshua up in the WBC so he can fight Wilder, and the winner tries to get the WBC belt back. And then it will be that whole thing of, yeah, Joshua just wants to win all the belts. So he needs to win that WBC or he can't finish his career properly. Dillian, you'll rebuild and you'll have him in those sort of entertaining fights. He'll rematch people like Parker and so forth, I think, if he loses. And I can also see Eddie trying to make a play for that IBO belt. And that will become the belt that he says is the most credible in boxing.
The IBO. Do you feel that Eddie's been architect of his own downfall then in last year or so?
I think it goes longer than that, Russ. The thing is, when you feel you're on top, that's the time to make alliances, right? When you're powerful, that's when you say to Bob, let's work together. Al, let's work together. Oscar, let's work together. Because then they look at you and go, he doesn't have to do this, but he's doing this. That shows he's a good person. But what he did when he was on top is he started disrespecting everyone. The thing I've never forgiven him for was when he was in the car and he was doing those Chris Eubank impressions. And I thought that was so disrespectful. I was like, you know what, when this guy's out of boxing and like when he leaves with his tail between his legs, that's the video clip they should play to remind him of how disrespectful he was. Because how are you going to disrespect the guy that paid for your school fees? The guy that bled so you could go to that school? The guy that bled so you could go and sell windows knowing that daddy would look after you if anything went wrong?
He nearly went under, didn't he? At 90s, barrier, and he had an heart attack and that, and nearly went under. It were Eubank though that put him in that situation, wasn't it? Got him out of it.
Yeah, and Eddie's doing impressions of Chris Eubank, like you can just disrespect the guy.
Quith Eubank, Christopher. He is a bit out there though, isn't he? English.
Who?
Called English now, isn't he, apparently?
But Porky, he's earned the right to do that.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
You know, he's earned the right to do that because he put himself on the line, and like, you know, all the stuff we complain about. Fighters have a whole career and they don't have defining fights. He has defining fights. He has a lot of filler in his career too, but he has defining fights. There are fights where you saw how tough that man was.
Yeah. I saw that toughy one when he fought Nigel Bent first time. They went at it like alley cats, didn't they?
Yeah.
They went at it like proper alley cats. Joshua, training situation. There's still no word on it. 3 weeks ago, they said we're making a decision on Monday. Well, it's 3 weeks tomorrow. And we're still not had a decision on his training team and what's going on. It's 4 months tomorrow since they exercised the rematch clause, activated the rematch clause. There's still no date, no venue or out, isn't there?
No. So remember Hearn did the interview where he's like, Fury could have had the Usyk fight anytime he wanted. And you're like, well, no, you activated the rematch clause in October.
Yeah.
Like I said, so big issue number one is Joshua hasn't got a training venue, right? He can't train at Loughborough, whatever people want to think. It doesn't make sense for him to be training at Loughborough. He'd like to be somewhere closer to home, but also far enough away that it's not a distraction. But I don't think they've quite got that sorted yet. In terms of trainer, I genuinely don't think they've agreed on who's going to do it. Because he's still training with Angel at the moment.
McCracken's out at picture altogether, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, they keep saying Rob's still going to have a role and all that to play, but that's just lip service for PR, isn't it? So Joshua's not seen to be a bad guy, isn't it?
Yeah, and also it opens up the path to reconciliation if needed.
Well, they're saying that Joshua just needs to go back to being Anthony Joshua. Well, why is he left McCracken then? If they're saying he needs to go back to being Anthony Joshua, why don't you just stay with McCracken if he's just going to be that guy?
You know why, Russ? He genuinely thinks he can box better than Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis would tear him apart, Joshua, if they fought at the peaks, both of them. It would tear him apart. It would honestly be a bloodbath.
But when you got people around you that only say yes, and McCracken was probably the only critical voice in that camp, so they got rid of him.
Yeah, Rob don't put any nonsense. I'm really shocked that he's been like going around auditioning all these trainers. I find that a bit disrespectful. Do you, Terry?
Yes and no. Right. They all want the Joshua check, right? Because it means that you can pay for your gym for the next 3 years. Right? So when you're a trainer, you're going to do that. It's like, look, Porky, imagine there are 5 single guys, right? And a woman walks in, stunning model walks in. All those guys, I mean, they'll sacrifice their dignity because the aim is to get that woman. So they'll just sacrifice their dignity. That's why you get shows like that one that Paddy McGuinness does, where the guy comes out and he basically prostrates himself to all these women and they turn their lights off when they don't like him. You know, all that stuff like Blind Date. You know, where people sacrifice dignity for acceptance.
Yeah. That's
what boxing trainers are. Essentially, boxing trainers are they're boxing's equivalent of prostitutes. They'll just go where the money is.
Okay. What do you think to Tony Bellew having a column in DAZN?
Well,
the column.
Hey, listen, I'm sure someone did a newsletter on the Titanic. It still sank anyway.
Is Tony coming back?
If he does, it'll be against Chisora. I can see that happening.
Intense beef. What about let's leave that. It's Mickey.
Or Mickey T.
Mickey T.
What's happening with him and John Fury? That's gone quiet.
Yeah, that's done in it now. Mick's moved on it now. John would have want to offer any man out over 50. Mick said yes, please. They arranged a date. Then everything started getting all a bit muddy. So it's 2 year, isn't it? Next month.
Wait, isn't Calzaghe 50 this year?
Yeah. He's just turned 50, isn't he?
I wonder if he'll call out John
Mate,
Fury.
I'm just in the middle of filming. Can I call you back? Cheers, mate. I'm gonna say something. I forgot what it were. Eddie Hearn and Jake Paul. Eddie's had to cling on to him now for a bit of the American pie, hasn't he? The American dream.
Hey, can someone confirm this? Right, I'm sure if you go down Eddie Hearn's Twitter now, you won't find all that shit he was saying about Jake Paul before. I'm sure he's deleted those tweets now.
I was shocked to see them both together, and Eddie saying, "Well, I've got to spend some time with him, and I like him, and we've got a lot in common, and all this. This is my new best friend." He's got a new best friend,
but he got to spend time with him when KSI did the fight with Logan Paul. What? He wasn't your friend back then? Well, but now that he's got Amanda Serrano, he's your friend. Oh, okay, I see how it works.
Has he got Amanda Serrano in? Yeah.
Who? Jake Paul? Yeah.
Tony Bellew says Serrano Taylor's the best fight ever in women's boxing historically.
But yeah, someone wrote that for him.
I can't believe Tony's saying that, because the other week when they were working with Savannah and all that, they were saying Savannah against Shields what best fight in world. Now they're saying it's that one. It's amazing, isn't it, how these people's minds change.
That's why I don't consume much of it anymore, man. I just go, you know what? Leave it to the people who take it seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Dave Allen's fighting next week. It's fight week tomorrow. He's not got an opponent. Cash Ali's not got an opponent either. You think Dennis might as well just put them in together and get a trilogy out of it? Or do you think he'll keep them apart?
Okay, Joe. Wouldn't be a bad fight, actually.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good fight. That'd be good for numbers.
Yeah, the Salt Palms for that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but unless Dennis wants to hold on to that one and see if he can get that on like a Channel 5 or something.
Or get Cash Ali on Sky Sports against Johnny Fisher or something like that.
Yeah, but that would be DAZN, right? Because Fisher is with Eddie.
Sorry, DAZN, I meant. Or get Cash Ali on a bigger show, I mean, bigger platform. Yeah. Maybe
Cash against like a Nathan Gorman.
Yeah, that's a good fight, that Nathan Gorman against Cash. He's a nice kid, him, Nathan Gorman. I quite like him.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was too big to fight Dubois, because he's a small heavyweight, isn't he?
Who?
Gorman. Dubois a bigger man than him, size-wise.
Yeah. But Nathan went in heavy in that fight. He was like 18 stone.
He's up and down with his weight, isn't he, Nathan? But he's got skills, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, remember, he was part of the junior setup at GB.
He always comes across as a decent chap, decent fella, a nice fella, like, when I've seen him in interviews and that. So I've always followed his career, and I'm a bit of a Nathan Gorman fanboy. I quite like him, actually. I think he comes across as a genuine lad. We don't get to hear much from Dubois, though, do we, Terry? He doesn't say a lot, does he?
Full stop. There's a joke that people don't even believe he's got a telephone.
He probably am. I could never imagine him phoning anybody to say, "What's that? What's happening?" He strikes me as just a really, really quiet kid.
Yeah, that's it, man. Just gets on with his boxing, and that's it. Like,
she can fight, can't she?
What, young Caroline?
His sister, yeah, she's a decent fighter, isn't she?
Oh man, I've been saying this for how long?
You've been saying it for about 5 years, haven't you?
Yeah, I thought the kid was special. There's only one question around her, and it's not even a big one, but what's gonna happen when that experience gap that she's got over opponents closes? Will she be able to stand her ground and really bite down? Because she's been so far ahead of everyone so far, she's never really had to do that.
Gonna be interesting, isn't it?
But all the tools in the box. Like, when people talk about her in the future, they say, "Oh, this trainer's brilliant because he got Caroline Dubois to this position." Nah, she's got everything now. All you have to do with her is kind of just sand it down and varnish it. That's it.
What do you think to the situation with the EAS at the moment? Do you think there's going to be big changes up there for moving forward?
Well, McCracken got his what? Do you get like an MBE or something? So it's hard to shift someone after he just got an MBE for doing well for British boxing. So he won't shift. He's on a nice wage there. I know they recruited a new CEO. I interviewed for that, but didn't get very far. So it's up to him. Does he want to make changes? I think the problem you have in this country is the pipeline's really dry in terms of talent. Like it's terrible because what we've done is we've allowed any clown with a few bob to open up a club and a gym, right? In the guise of, well, it increases participation. But what it does, Russ, is it dilutes all the talent. Yeah.
Well, they did well at Olympics. I mean, Fraser Clark as well. He's making his debut, isn't
he? Yeah. So we go through that squad, that 2020 squad. Fraser's been in the system 10 years. You'd expect him to be able to win something, right? McCormack's been in that system, since 2014? Well, both of them have been in the system since 2014. So they'd been there. They'd already done their Olympic cycle in 2016, and this was their second one. The same with Yafai. The one who really impressed was Lauren Price, to be honest, because that was her first cycle. And then young Karis Artingstall did her thing as well, and getting a bronze medal. She looked good. Ben Whittaker.
He's good.
That was his first cycle. Yeah, he looks good.
Do you think that Fraser Clark wins a British title?
Yeah.
I think he does as well. I think he wins a European as well. Do you think he can challenge Yoka?
No.
Ergovic?
No.
No. Joyce? No.
No. Or he would have done the 2016 Olympics.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. I wish him well, though. He always comes across as a happy lad.
Lovely man. Honestly, such a nice guy. But look, in his intake, he's got to fight that Richard Torres guy, the American kid, the little guy, who looked good. And then you got the guy, Badakadir Jalalov, the giant from Uzbekistan, who looks like he could just punch trees over.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's getting scary. Like, the longer these old guys hold on to these belts, Porky, the more these killers are piling up for them. So I genuinely don't see why you'd want to hold on to belts after this. After this,
Terry, it's quite. I think it's upsetting for me as a massive boxing fan. The heavyweight division, it's like just gone stale, hasn't it? There's no happening, is there? There's all politics, and it's just a mess, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone's trying to get that big payday, right? People don't want two reasonable paydays. They want that one big payday, that ego stroker. That's what they want.
Yeah, somebody's just sent me some. I'll see if we can share it. Somebody's just. Oh no! Somebody's just sent. I get screenshots of people. Somebody's telling Bean to hand his laptop in. It says not Michael Benson, the account. So, who is this Michael Benson guy? Has anybody ever met him? Does he exist?
Nope. No.
Who is he then? Just a mouthpiece for Erno, doesn't exist?
I thought it was you.
No, I can't get on Twitter. I'm sadly. I cause that much trouble on Twitter. I find it's so easy to work, actually. That's why I used to terrorize people on it. But no, I don't. But we are on Twitter, Porky's Corner. somebody runs it for me. So, but we don't just put videos up there. Don't interact.
Yeah, when we need porky tweets, we need the rage. You can't manufacture rage.
I always feel if there's enough hours in the day, but if I've got anything to say, I can just say it on here, can't I? If I have to address anything, I don't need to.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's tweeting for other people. Or, I mean, we all know what happened with Terry Harper. Steffi were tweeting for her for years, and there's nothing wrong with that because he's done well for her. But and then he made the mistake of admitting that he runs it, doesn't he? And then when the tweet goes out from Terry, nobody knows what to believe or it is, do they? I think people should just do their own tweets, personally, do you?
No. I'll tell you why, Russ. And you know this, right? Some of the horrible shit that's said on Twitter. Like when you're in a sport boxing, that tends to attract generally quite insecure people. Boxers are quite fragile mentally, as much as they pretend otherwise. They're quite fragile. I don't think they need to be bombarded with negativity on a daily basis. If I was a professional boxer, I wouldn't run my own Twitter account.
Would Isaac Lowe have a better career if somebody else had run his Twitter for him?
Yeah, well, he would make more sense. I don't know about anything else.
Yeah, it'd make more sense for him to have some English lessons, wouldn't it, on spelling? You see some, I call him the Lowster. Some of his tweets are shocking. What people send me, I'm like, has he really put that out? I mean, this is a guy that's world ranked. Somebody rerunning Isaac Lowe's Twitter.
I think every so often MTK send him something to copy and paste because it also the language just looks too good to be true.
Yeah, I seen an interview going on about Jordan Gill. He says, if I go over there and answer him, I'm going to kill him stone dead. Yeah, I quite like it when Isaac lets rip actually, because it's funny, but he don't know it's funny, does it? He don't know that it's funny, is it? Innit? All right, then. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, Terry. We've had a good chat today.
No worries, pal.
Well, what you got planned for us today?
Oh, I feel like I should exercise, but I've done my hip, so I'm trying to rest, but also not just do nothing. So I might just get on the old exercise bike for a while and do a bit of boy a cold, bit of T-bar rowing, our kid. Bit of T-bar rowing will sort that hip out. No, it's a nightmare on the hip. So just sit on the bike, just pedal through. Do the porky workout.
What, 4 reps and then kettle on? Right, no problem. Well, listen, all the best, Terry.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Well, that was Terry Chappendama. I think that's about it, really. I'm a bit flat after last night because I had a heavy session last night. I'm just recovering. So, okie dokie then. I'll put this out this afternoon. I'll let it lead up to Asylum, eh? And then tomorrow when I get to work, I can read out live chat because I know everybody likes to talk about me non-stop in live chat, don't they? All them people hiding behind their accounts. But they're all welcome on Porky's Corner on Zoom. But 90% don't have the gonads to come on, just chit chat, acting out fantasies, pretending to be other people. Right, okay then. Have a great Sunday, what's left of it. I'm going to carry on watching me conspiracies about UFOs. Aren't we, Rocky? We're going to chill watching these conspiracies on Netflix. Peace out.